Every day was the same. Darkness, cold. I heard the laughter upstairs, but I knew the door would never open for me. This heartbreaking quote comes from Cecilia. Her story is one of the most shocking cases of hidden captivity in modern history. It reveals the chilling truth about how power and wealth can conceal monstrous crimes. This tragedy shocked communities across the US, the UK, and resonated deeply in places like the Middle East and South Asia. Reports suggest that the average person lives within a mile of a person hiding a dark secret. A beautiful home, a powerful family, and a secret locked away beneath the foundations. The truth behind this will shock you. The man who did this was not a stranger. He was her father. He was Victor, a billionaire. The biggest revelation? He faked her disappearance for over 2 decades. This is the story of a father who built a golden cage and buried his own child inside. We are going to show you how he pulled off this unimaginable crime for 24 years. Let me show you exactly how this happened.
The story starts with Victor. He was a master of his domain. He had vast wealth. He was known globally for his business success. He lived in a huge mansion, a picture of stability. Victor had a family, a wife and several children. They were the perfect family unit, except for one missing piece. Cecilia, she vanished in her late teens. The family told the official lie. Cecilia had run away. She had joined a cult. She didn't want the family life. They filed the missing person file. It was closed quietly after a few years. Why does this matter to the target viewer? It shows how a powerful person can manipulate official systems and public perception. I'll explain the clever, simple architectural trick Victor used to hide the room later. The key location is the mansion itself, a massive, beautiful house, but beneath the surface lay the sealed room, a secret, hidden part of the basement. This was the first mini surprise. The room was designed by Victor himself during a massive home renovation. He used his own construction companies. This crime was not random. It was planned. It was executed with the precision of a business deal. The family unit lived above. They laughed, they ate, they slept. And beneath their feet, Cecilia suffered. Past bias. People never suspect the successful, high-status person. We look for monsters in the shadows, not in the spotlight.
The tragedy is that the rest of the family reportedly believed the lie. They mourned Cecilia. They believed she was gone. This allowed Victor to continue his life without question. His wealth protected him from serious scrutiny. Now here's where things get really interesting. The most accessible wow line is simple. Victor reportedly spent over $1 million just on concealing the basement room. $1 million. That is a massive sum for a single small room. For context, this budget was used for soundproofing, ventilation, and most importantly, the secret mechanism to access it. This shows the scale of his calculation. But wait, the room itself was accessed through a false electrical panel, a simple heavy-duty switch that activated a sliding wall. The complexity of the lie was built on the simplicity of the hardware. The money bought Victor time. It bought him silence. He used financial leverage over the construction crew. Sources suggest the few workers who knew about the room were paid huge bonuses and forced to sign extremely harsh non-disclosure agreements. This directly connects to the viewer's ambitions. Money can buy silence, even in the most horrific circumstances.
The police, when they finally got involved, had no idea. The missing person file was cold. They looked for physical evidence outside the house. They never looked in the house. Why would they suspect a billionaire who mourned his daughter publicly? I'll explain the specific piece of evidence that broke the original missing person file wide open later. Cecilia, the daughter, was reportedly held captive from the age of 18 to 42. 24 years. This simple passage of time is agonizing. Every birthday missed, every moment of light stolen. This incredible passage of time was protected by walls that cost $1 million. The soundproofing was critical. It meant the rest of the family unit never heard a cry, never heard a knock. They were truly ignorant. But if you think that's crazy, wait until you hear this. This part reveals the complex hidden mechanism. Victor ran the entire sealed room life cycle from air filtration to food delivery through a meticulously planned, encrypted digital schedule. The key to his long-term success was automation. He didn't have to be present all the time. He designed the system to be self-sufficient for periods. This protected him from constant scrutiny. The public saw Victor as a loving father, a charity donor, and a genius businessman. That was the cover. The insider reality, based on subsequent police findings, was that he was a meticulous jailer. He used his business skills to manage a dungeon. This confirms a horrifying truth. The same skills used to build an empire can be twisted to commit the most profound evil. The police realized they were dealing with something more than simple brute force. An expert insight from the investigation team was critical. A lead detective, speaking according to sources, stated, he didn't need a guard, he needed a schedule. Every meal, every light cycle, every air exchange was timed. He treated the room like a remote branch office of his company.
I'll interrupt here to ask a question. If you had been a member of that construction crew, what would you have done? Think about the power of silence. The system was controlled by a hidden server in his house. The information was encrypted. It used complex, corporate-level security. This is the more complex mechanism. He didn't just lock her in. He managed her captivity like a project. Before, long-term captivity required extreme physical isolation. Now, Victor used complex digital layers to manage the situation right under his family's noses. The local versus global aspect is here too. The software he used was global, standard business tech, applied to a local, personal prison. The pressure cooker finally started to crack when the family unit noticed small things. Not about the basement, but about Victor. He was increasingly obsessive about the security cameras. He was overly protective of the Wi-Fi router, claiming it was for business security. These small behaviors were the first red flags. The fact that builds toward the biggest twist. During the investigation, police found dozens of small, personal items, a single childhood drawing, a dried flower, hidden behind the panel. This showed the room had been used for years, long before the official lie. It proved his deception began when Cecilia was still a child. It was a planned, long-term nightmare. This brings us to the most shocking discovery of all. The biggest, high-stakes reveal that reframes the entire story. Cecilia was saved because Victor's multi-million-dollar air filtration system failed, triggering a commercial safety alert. This is the ultimate irony. The multi-million-dollar system he designed to ensure secrecy was the very thing that betrayed him. The air system was commercial grade. It was connected to an outside maintenance company for routine alerts. This was a system-level implication failure. His need for professional reliability gave the outside world a clue. The maintenance company receiving a high-priority air quality alert from a seemingly normal utility room called the fire department. This was the moment of the medical emergency. After 24 years of darkness, a faulty ventilation fan brought the light. When the fire department arrived, Victor was frantic. He tried to use his financial leverage. He offered huge sums of cash to leave. But the fire crew followed protocol. They had to find the source of the alarm. They traced the vent to the false electrical panel. This connects all the previous dots. The million-dollar construction was meaningless. The encrypted system was useless. A simple safety mechanism designed to protect commercial buildings became the key to unlocking the truth. The dramatic but believable moment, the fire crew forced the wall open. They found Cecilia inside the sealed room. She was reportedly in terrible condition, physically and mentally. Her story, after 24 years, was finally brought to light. So, what does all this mean for us today?
Why this case matters now, for you, the target viewer. This case is a stark lesson in the power of institutional disbelief. For years, police and even the family believed the lie because of Victor's status. They didn't push. They didn't investigate the billionaire. This is a critical takeaway for global audiences. Wealth and power often blind systems to the truth. The short-term consequences were immediate. Victor was arrested, his public image instantly shattered. The long-term consequences are the legal and public safety reforms. This case forced authorities to revise how they handle high-status missing persons cases. Simple predictions. Future building codes may require greater scrutiny of deep basement constructions and commercial alarm connections in residential homes. I'll explain the final moment of freedom for Cecilia, which was totally unexpected, in a moment. The personal takeaway is about the power of small doubts. The maintenance company technician who called the fire department simply followed the data. He didn't care about the mansion or the billionaire. He followed the procedure. The viewer's lesson? Trust your instincts and follow the data, even when pressured by authority.
We keep the tension with a small reveal. The investigation team found that Victor had a secondary, hidden power switch for the sealed room. If he pressed it, it would have activated an emergency gas release system, according to alleged design documents. This wasn't just a prison, it was a potential tomb. The fire alarm triggered just before he reportedly had a chance to use this ultimate hidden mechanism. Simple predictions for the viewer: never let authority figures, especially wealthy ones, override safety protocols. That small alarm was bigger than a billionaire. This case serves as a profound inspiration. Even the deepest, darkest secrets can be revealed by a simple, unintended technical failure. Before we wrap up, there's one final thing you need to know. The last unexpected twist comes during the moments after her rescue. Remember the rest of the family unit? The wife and children who reportedly believed the official lie for 24 years? They were victims too. They were deceived and manipulated by Victor's power. The final reveal? Cecilia reportedly asked to meet her mother first, not a detective or a doctor. Her first act of freedom was a private, emotional one. The mother, facing the horror of the truth, reportedly collapsed in shock. This unexpected perspective reframes the tragedy. It shows the devastating secondary impact of the crime. This emotional close of the story loop ties back to the opening quote. Cecilia finally heard the sounds of the outside world, not just the muffled laughter above. Her final moment of true isolation ended with an embrace. The resulting court case was swift and brutal. The evidence of the sealed room, the construction payments, and the system failure was undeniable. Victor was found guilty of multiple counts of false imprisonment and abuse. His wealth and power did not save him. This story is not just about horror. It's about endurance. Cecilia survived 24 years of darkness and eventually walked out into the light. The greatest force is the human will to survive. If this opened your eyes,
This case of Cecilia and Victor is a devastating look at the ultimate betrayal of trust and the failure of systems to question wealth. Victor's status allowed him to hide his crime for decades without serious police scrutiny. The commercial safety alert, designed for industry, became the unlikely hero in a personal horror. $1 million was spent on soundproofing and secrecy, highlighting the high cost of a criminal cover-up. Cecilia's 24 years of survival became the ultimate testimony against her father. This story compels us to look beyond appearances and to hold the powerful to account. Every dark secret casts a huge shadow. If you want more high-retention, deeply investigative true crime stories that reveal systemic failures, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. Your support helps us tell these difficult truths. And tell us in the comments, what shocked you most, the cost of the room or the length of the captivity?
We found another shocking case of long-term captivity. A mother and his little son locked in the billionaire house cage, and his little son tried to freedom. If you're interested in this case, click the video on your screen now to watch that investigation next. It shows similar patterns of power abuse. If you were one of the family members, how would you have handled the realization that the person you loved was capable of such evil? Share your thoughts with respect and empathy in the comments. Thank you for watching. Never stop seeking the light. We'll see you in the next investigation.